how we'll intro 2026 with a bang.
Beginning 2026 with a moment of vulnerability as I share with you my art.
Yes. Stunning. Stunning.
I was sitting here, putting away my many lovely gifts into their various places on my desk.
Uh-huh.
And at one point, I was also talking to a client. And sometimes when I'm talking to a client, it helps me to listen more deeply, to be like drawing or like, not reading something else or anything like that, but
Right.
like
Yep.
letting my brain kinetically do something.
Yep.
And so I was like, let me just bust out these oil pastels and try a little something. A little red house, a little sun.
What does that little red house mean to you? Where is that little red house in your being?
Where do you feel the little red house in your body?
That's basically
I
what I'm
feel
asking.
it. I feel it in my sacral chakra,
How dare you? Fuck you. I
right
love
here.
how deep
No,
we
that's
just
not
tried to
right.
went. We went so spiritual and so kind and so whatever. And I just said, fuck you.
I can't stay on that for too long. It's gonna go either sarcastic or silly or, as with our conversation yesterday, oops, too dark. Uh-oh, little too serious.
I mean, what's funny is when I said, oh, this is a fun game, I did have a moment of like, I mean, is it? And then the next answer was like, nope, it's not. It's not a fun game anymore. I don't like this game anymore. I want to go home.
I want to go home. I don't like this. Yeah, that's, sometimes that's what happens with things I find funny. Oh,
Same.
look, another piece of artwork fell out of the
Yes.
sketchbook here.
Okay.
Well, one side is I believe it's her phone.
Yes. I love it. Nice.
And then this one is mine, which
Love
was
it.
just some watercolor. And then as you can
I love
see,
that
I
one.
I did some oil pastel addition to it.
I love that.
I don't know, dude. It's just it's colors are fun.
Colors are fun. I mean, I'm literally just drawing lines, not surprisingly, with the crayons that you made me. I'm spoiled so rotten. I did
Custom
tell
crayons.
I did tell my friends about this yesterday. I think one of my friends wants to do this with her kids
Yeah, it is
because
fun.
obviously they have like 5,000 broken crayons in their house, and um, and I told them about and it was a big hit, obviously, with one person in particular who I was making a lot of art with yesterday, and she was a big fan of the concept. So her mom was like, "Yeah,
I
we can do
love
that."
that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a great, would you like to hold one up and demonstrate to the class what we're talking about?
Yes.
So I
So,
can I can voice over and
oh wait,
explain a
could you not?
little.
So these, yes, you voiceover. Go ahead.
So these are crayons. These were made by taking broken crayons and putting pieces of broken crayon into muffin tins and melting them into one large peanut butter cup shaped crayon. And I love that one because it looks like a little galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, it's nice to put together colors that go together. You don't want to do it just totally random because then
Mm-hmm.
you might end up with brown crayons. That's one of my favorites too. I love that red. Um, yeah, so we've ended up with some custom crayons in an interesting shape. I mean, they're not quite as conducive to, I mean, you're doing line drawing with them, I guess. So,
Well, I just thought the funnest part first would be embrace that they have these little teeth. So I'm just
yeah.
coloring with that only right now. But you get like multiple lines of different colors off of each one. Um, hence, like this is only done with like three of them.
Ah,
Yeah.
see,
This one's also one of my
um,
favorites though, before we stop this part. I love this blue one.
well, it looks a little night skyish,
It
doesn't it?
does. Yeah. That and the black purple vibe is like I these two are my soul, my spirit.
That feels right. What if you had one eye that was one of those colors and one eye that was the other? Or if instead of eyes, your eyes were just replaced with those.
I feel like I'd be like a huge babe magnet. Um,
Right. That's
I
right.
mean, who wouldn't want that? I know I do.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
You can be anything you want if you believe in yourself.
I still believe that. You're laughing, but I just think that's true. I just think that that's true. This is also a great moment to share with the class that we did exchange holiday gifts, and many of them were very similar gifts, and that was really delightful.
Yeah.
Um, we both gifted each other art materials.
Hmm.
We both gifted each other books.
Hmm.
We both gifted each other.
So I did tea, you did crystals, which are very much our modalities. And
Yeah.
but the most important part of that is that first of all, we both picked beautiful jars for them that we
Yeah.
both commented like, I love this jar. And then we both also did handwritten little books, like with little art and detailing out what each herb or crystal is and does. Um, I mean,
Obsessed.
we also had like special boxes. Like our packaging
Yeah.
was very specific, and we were both very proud of our packaging. Appropriately, by the fucking way, it was badass.
Obsessed.
Hmm.
Ugh,
Yeah, no,
so good.
it was very like, oh, we are on the same wavelength with the woo for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's it though. Nothing else.
Yeah, it's weird that we have nothing else in common, but
I know. It's hard, but we make it work, you know?
we do. There's a guy who just went by my window and I've seen him a couple times now. I think he must be kind of new to the area because I hadn't seen him at all this fall, but he rides one of those one wheel electric where you stand on it and
A
like,
segue.
but they're one, they don't have a handle. It's just the foot. It, you know, like
Oh,
they're,
like a hoverboard.
yeah, yeah. I don't really know what they're actually called. That might be it. They were all over New York, I remember. And there's actually a great moment in Broad City when Alana is tweeting for her company before she gets fired, and she sees one of those go by, and but it's earlier when they weren't as common. Anyway, there's a guy that like goes by really fast on one of those, um, with a dog on a leash running beside him.
No. Sorry. I'm so stressed even just
I'm so
hearing
stressed.
about that.
Oh, 100%. Yes. I'm like, oh, my brain already knows 5,000 ways this is going to import. Like, there's also speed humps on my street, as you know. I'm like,
No.
but I mean, I haven't seen him hit the pavement yet, so good for him. But he went by. It's a little distracting seeing that situation
Yeah,
go
I mean, I
by.
can't imagine why. Can't, can't imagine why. I see that stuff every day.
um, what's making you laugh?
Fuck. I was really hoping I would be the one to ask you so I would have more time to decide what mine was going to be.
Do you want me to figure something out and say it so that you have time?
Oh no. Do you not have one locked and loaded, ready to go? The thing
I
is, it's
never do.
hard.
You know, I never do. I am awful. I like, I know, even when I know what
You
question I'm
are
going to,
awful.
I'm awful. Even if I know what question I'm going to ask you, I never know what my answer is. I'm like truly bad at like being like, oh, right, we're doing this, the same thing that we do every week.
I mean, or a reframe of that could be that you're really good at doing it on the fly and just coming up with something, whereas
That is a nice reframe. Thank you so much.
it is, you're welcome. Yeah. hmm What is, I mean, for this time, this is not for lack of many options of things to choose. As
Yes.
you know, because you were present for it, I've laughed at a lot of things this week.
Yeah.
What's making me laugh this morning is I did watch our special episode, which is out today, which by the time anyone else is hearing this, it will have been out for a week. But if you missed it, you've got to go back
Yes.
and you've got to watch it. I mean, really, the whole thing makes me laugh. But your voiceover of it is really, truly, it's
You think I'm going to get
inspiring.
work off of that? Do you think
I know you are.
I'm
Do
gonna
I
get VO
think
work?
do I think that you're gonna have time
I
to
am
do all of
available.
these?
I have avails, folks. If you're looking for your next voiceover.
Listen, I so that this morning brought me a lot of joy. Also, well, I think I told you, I started to tell you this before, but I did have was walking to school with one of my children today, and he made a comment of like, can I, can we cross the street a different way today? And I said, no, it's a busy street and we cross this way because people turn right super, super fast. And so we need to cross on the other side because when they're turning left, they slow down, they look that, whatever. And he was like, oh, like what, what would happen if we got hit by a car? Would we die? And I said, I mean, we might. And he was like, that's okay. Like, I want to go to heaven, which this is a child who like
I'm
means,
obsessed.
legitimately means I'm interested in visiting heaven and what it's like. It wasn't a statement of like, yeah, I don't care about anything. I would like to die. It was, no, I'll go to heaven. And then even
Yeah,
better, this is the best part that, we, of course, when I started telling you this story, we immediately got derailed to something else. So
sure.
this part isn't going to be new to you, is that he did a dance with
Oh,
the I want
yes.
to go to heaven, which
Oh,
was
fuck
something like
yes.
that. And then he did it, and I clocked it, but I didn't say anything. And then he was like, "Mommy AJ, look, look," and it was like, oh God, I can't remember what it was, but it was like something like, "Go to heaven." There was like a little like upward hand motion with it. I want to go to heaven. Or no, he was pointing. The hand was pointing up.
Oh, yes. I'm obsessed.
And I just was reminded of all the times that you've said, like, this child is going to be a performer.
Yes,
It's,
I'm convinced. It's written in the stars with this one. It is written in
ooh,
the fucking stars with that one.
oh my
And
God.
I will be at every show.
Oh, obvious. We'll be producing every show. Are you kidding?
Obviously.
Are you
Obviously.
kidding me?
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah. So of course, I've given two answers, but I will say the third. I still am just delighting. I was rereading the week's horoscope to like kind of like read it again,
Sure.
looking backwards.
Sure.
And it was talking about, yeah, on Tuesday, you should make sure you're like really making time for like fun and joy and like, you know, and that is all that our Tuesday was. We spent Tuesday together in person,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of it was spent just like uproariously laughing, and mostly at some truly dumb shit that
Really dumb
was
shit.
delightful, including YouTube videos that are linked in last week's special episode. Again,
Bingo.
it's not going to be the last time that I shout out the special episode. But check out the show notes because there are some quality YouTube videos in there for you.
That is exactly right.
That's our gift to you.
We wanted to share our joy with you, is basically where we're at.
Our
Yeah.
our Venus Kazemi joy practice.
Dude, I mean, yeah, and my answer is just like our entire trip and most of the time that you and I spend around each other is like the hardest I'll laugh. Like, I mean, just pretty much guaranteed.
Mm.
Um, but that night, I mean, like, it was like hysterical, painful laughter. And
Yes.
I like it, yeah, I don't know. So I think that night is sticking out to me too. And like, I just find it really funny that so we decided to have just a night in and like ordered Domino's and
Mm.
at some
Shout out,
point
sponsor us.
sponsor us. Oh my God, sponsor the fuck out of us,
Can
Domino's.
you
You
imagine?
can sponsor the fuck out of us, Domino's. Sponsor us all night, babe.
Please.
um, and but we like we're already in giggle fits, and then we decided to play a game that I've known as Celebrity. But what is it the name that you call it?
I've always played it as fishbowl.
Fishbowl. Okay. Um, but I think everyone knows the game to some extent, where it's like all the people in the room write down like four or five now like people, places, or things, throw them in a bowl, and then you do 3 rounds. One of the rounds you can do anything but say the words. The next round you have to like charades it, and this third round you only get to say one word for people to guess what it is that you have. So it's like charades, but like amped up with like other
Hmm.
difficulties. And so we decided to play this as a party of two, which is, first of all, already what?
That was my idea, right?
It was your idea.
That was that.
You got up so enthusiastically and started tearing shreds of paper off. And then
You said that. You were like, you look, why are you so serious right now? I was deadly fucking serious about playing this.
it just like, I mean, to be fair, we put a lot in there, given that there were only two of us to remember them.
We each put like a dozen in there. It was so
It
much.
was so many. And then like the completionist in both of us insist, we only did 2 rounds, but we did insist on finishing that second round no matter how painful it got. And um but I mean, it was just amazing. We couldn't for the life of us remember what the fuck we'd put in there. So we're both guessing things that we both know aren't in there. And and just like, and when it got down to to the charades one, just like, I had one, you and I both had one that we just wouldn't do a different gesture. We just kept doing the same thing, but like looking at each other like, what the fuck? Why aren't you getting it?
Come
So
on, dude.
yours was
Driving, obviously a driving gesture.
and then mine was, and you were like, what? And I'm like,
Hello.
you're like, I fucking have no idea what this is.
No clue what you're talking about.
And it was
Uh,
inspired to Matio. How could you not know?
it was all like, I do recommend it because it is fun to do like this is our inside jokes with each other thing. I
Which
think
is a lot of what we did.
it was also in part inspired by a TikTok trend that I had been telling you about earlier in the day, which was where friends will do like the equivalent of like the heads up game with the
Yes,
phone,
yes,
but
yeah.
it'll be like in wow, that just really illuminated how greasy my phone screen is from my face. Look at that. Look at that grease
I just see
stain.
that you've well moisturized. That's how I interpret that.
Thank you for seeing me.
I do
Thank you
see
for
you.
really,
And I do see your moist fucking skin because my like Sahara desert over here.
I'm telling you, you're gonna get a new humidifier.
I know. I'm just anxious about it. What I really need to do is get pumpkin seed oil for my skin. I'm using jojoba right now because it's more accessible, but it doesn't seep in as much as a good pumpkin seed oil does.
For the love of God, someone get this guy some pumpkin seed oil.
What do I have to
Jesus.
do? What do I have to do?
What does a bitch have to do to get some pumpkin seed oil around here?
Um,
God.
a more contemporary thing that's making me laugh is that you also I'm now co pet owner parent with you and Laura of Tony the cat.
Yes.
And so Tony is officially residing here.
It's a big
And
announcement for the 19. So everybody
it is a
just
bit.
we're
Everyone just
sorry that
absorb that for a second.
we didn't, I mean, I guess we did kind of tease it a little bit on the
Yes,
last episode, but it is now, we are now co-parents.
that's exactly right. It's a big deal.
Mhm.
Um, and so one of the things that's really making me laugh is some of the way, like, Tony is very different than my previous cat Simone, but does have some similarities in behaviors. And one of them is coming in and waking me up for breakfast. And we've only had our 2 days alone together so far. So she still is definitely a little like, so when is AJ getting back? Um,
Real.
but this morning it made me laugh because she did what Simone used to do, which is come wake me up for food, I go feed her, and then I usually just go lay back down for a little bit. And Simone would never have it. She was just like, she would stop eating and come into the bedroom and be like, "What the fuck?
Hello, what are you doing?
Like, you also need to eat and go take a shower and do your thing. Like, how are we going to pay rent?" And and this morning, Tony came in and got me for breakfast. I fed her and went and laid back down, and immediately she came back in and was like yelling at me, like, "Excuse me." Yeah, she's like, "We're not doing. We're. I." She's like, I can't live here if
I can't live like this.
this depressive behavior is going to continue.
This isn't gonna work.
It's not going to work for me. But yeah, so that I like cats endlessly make me laugh. And to be fair, so does my tortoise. Like this morning, I fed him and he walked over to the dish and started eating. And then this is the trouble with feeding him is that if he doesn't eat it all in one go, um, like he ate some of it and then he doesn't have spatial reasoning, so he just walked right over the dish, which then his paw or his not paw, his like foot that has claws on it actually hits the
We all
edge of
knew
the
what you
dish,
meant.
flips it, and
Oh
then
no.
we have no more food. So we do this several times a day. Like I feed him probably 3 or 4 times a day because he will take a few bites and then flip his dish again.
Oh
And some of
no.
you might be thinking we'll put less in there. I do put less in. It doesn't like we still have the same issue over and over. So, but he did
Wow.
just do that. He went over and ate some of his crunchies, and then I watched him walk right over the top of it again. He's like, "Well, I'm done." That is how he walks.
I loved that. I loved every moment of that. Uh,
Okay, I
okay.
do have a question for you.
Oh,
Sorry,
good.
my smoothie is like I made it like a day or two ago, and then was just like, "That's not true." I made it way longer than that. I'm just self conscious about it. I feel like people are gonna be like grossed out by how long ago I made the smoothie that I'm not drinking.
Adriana's 8-week-old smoothie. No, what are we talking? Be honest with us here. This is
I
a
made it
safe
on
space.
Sunday.
Okay. It's been in the fridge, presumably.
It has, yeah.
Okay. That I don't know. That to me feels like you're somebody who's avoiding food waste and you're
Hmm.
willing to maybe deal with some textural problems that come with that.
It definitely is thicker than I am used to. So if I'm slowing down at all, it's because there's smoothie in my lips that I can't get
If I if I'm slow to respond, it's because I'm fighting for my fucking life trying to chew my way through this smoothie. Got it. Roger that.
Well, I'm a dum dum and I made them before you came because I was like, I'm gonna make this meal when AJ's here and I'm gonna still like have my smoothies in the morning and burr burr burr. Uh, and no. Also, I didn't make the cinnamon rolls and I keep forgetting. And then this morning when I went to get coffee, I was very tempted by a cinnamon roll. And then I was like, you have cinnamon rolls.
I love it.
Um, anyway, okay. As we think about this new year upon us, my question for you, for both of us really, is just to get us kind of thinking about and reflecting on intentions and kind of goals, but in a broader sense, goals, I guess, for the coming year, for this year that we are now in, I guess. Ooh, is that a new cup? I don't think I've seen that
This,
one.
no, it's not new, but I may not have used it before. It's from Barnegat Light, New
Okay.
Jersey, which
Okay.
is on the Jersey Shore where some of our friends live. We got it this summer from a
Oh,
trip to visit them.
cute. Yes. Um, anyway, okay. So my question for you is what are some situations from the last year or years plural that when faced with them again, you would like to have a different feeling, a different thought, or a different behavior?
Ooh. That's a good question. Mhm. Well, the first thing that always comes to mind with a question like that is thinking about how I have coped with and responded to anxiety.
Mm,
That is, but there are lots of ways that that manifests, right? There's kind of the parenting dimension of it, which
sure.
is, how I approach my role as a parent, how I deal with stress of being a parent or moments with my kids that feel really activating. There's the constant kind of like being hard on myself because I wish I would have handled something better. And then, so I think there's like that dimension of it that comes to the forefront. And then I think there's also the sort of like eh, underlying anxiety of being a creative person who isn't being creatively expressive,
Mm,
um, and who like wants to be making things and being creative in practice and then deprioritizing that, which I think there is like an element of like safety and self-preservation in that, but
mm,
also a way that I think for me that's not the most loving choice I could make for myself or the people around me.
sure.
Um, so those are like two lanes that I think of. It's kind of like my relationship. It's kind of, I guess, in the categories of like my relationship with the significant people in my life and then my relationship to myself and my identity, and specifically my identity as an artist and to my creativity.
Interesting. Um, yeah, no, I that makes a lot of sense. And I would point out that like something that was coming to mind when you were saying that is like where does values alignment fit
Mm,
in specifically in competition with capitalism? Because in both those categories, capitalism is going to really like fuck you up
yeah,
and and live in opposition to what sounds like your values in those areas anyway.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, interesting. What do you want? So then, what do you want your like feeling, thoughts, and behaviors to look like in those areas?
When I think of like my ideal self or like my ideal way of responding to or handling things, I would like to be a person who is grounded in my own emotional experience, present to like what is happening now,
Mm,
rather than mostly my orientation is I will get anxious about the future that hasn't happened yet.
absolutely.
For some people, I know that it's more of an orientation of what's already happened in the past
Yep.
that we're stuck in. Either
Totally.
way, that's not being present to what's happening now.
That's right.
So I would like to be able to be a person in my relationships who is present, who is honest. Um,
Stop lying to me.
I can't. I don't know how. I'm gonna learn this year, I swear. Um, and honest, the part of the importance of like the honesty part for me, aside from that, just like being a value that I have in relationships, is also honesty about what my emotional reality is, honesty about like what I'm feeling and experiencing and what I need, um, and what I want and what's important to me.
Mm,
I think this is gonna shock everyone, but I feel like I'm deprogramming a lot of the ways I'm socialized to be accommodating in
mm,
all dimensions. Um,
hmm.
and I do feel I've done a lot of good work around that,
Yeah.
but it's still in progress. And I think particularly with kind of, I've done most of the work around how I'm communicating with people, how I'm showing up in relationships, but there's still a lot of like suppression of what I really think, what I really feel, like just a self-editing that kind of happens
Yeah.
involuntarily that I'm trying to kind of unwind and just not have that happen so automatically.
Sure.
Um, which means I really have to like slow everything way the fuck down.
Mm,
Um, because that's how I can even be aware of what's happening here.
sure.
It's hard because I've set up my life in a way that, and by design, in a way that there's always something going on for me to like click into that's not what's happening in here and here.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Dude, I don't know if that
Does.
answers your question. Now I don't even remember what the question was.
That's okay. It's really, I mean, we're just talking about what like just it's basic CBT shit. Feel, think, behave, and
Sure.
where you want to like for me, I just like think back of like, oh, in this situation that happened, if that were to ever happen again, here's how I would like to feel during that.
Mm,
Or here's how I would like I remember having this thought in that moment. I would love if my thought was different in that moment.
mm,
Or like and then that can
yeah.
get me to like, okay, well then what behavior do you want to engage with in that moment that could start that chain reaction?
Mm,
Um so I mean, what I'm hearing and what you just said and is hella relatable. Shocking.
what?
And this it's interesting because in this way, you and I, I think, are very aligned in our tendency to be outwardly both. We have big internal worlds
Mm,
that we maybe sometimes avoid through a lot of external like uh
yeah.
obligation
Yeah.
that we like that we manifest, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I think one could say this about a lot of people who do things like work in the nonprofit sector,
Hmm.
or I'm sure there are more than one adoptive and foster parent people who have a similar experience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the interesting thing is like the structure of our lives is so different. So the ways and
Yeah.
the manner in which we might execute avoidance is quite different.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, but yeah, so like what I heard in there is like the like figuring out what that like you use the language of like vulnerability and like and then you use the language of like accommodation for other people. Like yeah, it's an interesting thought of like what does a different version of that look like?
Yeah, I mean, and I think the different version of that is, and you and I have talked about this extensively because I do feel like I try to practice this with you often, which is like the moment where, and you and I will both do this, where we're like, this voice note is probably rambly, or this probably didn't make sense, or this is
Mm-hmm.
all this is my thing is
Yep.
always this is boring. This is probably super
Yep.
boring.
Yep.
So I'm
It's
trying
by the
not to do
way, let
that.
me just go ahead and speak for the 19 here. The concept of you being boring is absolutely hilarious. That is comedy in and of itself. Like, what is the sketch that we need to make where you are exactly you and people are like, hmm, 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 like I
Yeah.
want to see that sketch because it's just like so out of line with reality, you know? It's a
Yeah.
good example of a real intrusive thought because it is fully out of line with reality.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think it's also like it is the practice too. I mean, with intrusive thoughts, also just like generally, this is like as a person who deals with intrusive thoughts often, is sometimes you just have to be able to, and with a lot of categories of my intrusive thoughts, I am able to practice like, oh, that's just a weird thought you're having. That's not based in reality. You don't have to, that doesn't have to be instructive, right? Like you don't have to
Totally.
do anything
Yeah.
with that. You can just notice that it happened and ideally kind of like laugh at it and laugh at
Yes.
your
Yeah.
brain and move on.
Totally.
Um, so I'm trying to do more of that. So even if I am, and sometimes I will say the intrusive thought out loud because then it
Sure.
makes me laugh at myself.
Totally.
So that's a lot of what you get from me is like,
Yes. Same. Yeah.
yeah, or like, oh, this feels embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You know,
I just confessed about my like 6 day old smoothie, so I'm feeling
see,
pretty
we're
brave right now.
we're practicing this already.
I'm
Look at
feeling pretty
us,
brave. 2026 done, nailed it. Can we move on?
courage, courage.
Courage. Yeah.
You're crushing it.
Um, that's really interesting. I mean, do you, so what are like, how does that lay out with like other, like, how do you articulate that through intentions for the year?
Yeah. Well, so my part, a lot of the themes, as we've mentioned, of the kind of like type of thinking I'm trying to move away from, or not let myself do the self-editing thing, is
Mm,
that I do, and this is what stops me, like what blocks me from being able to write as much as I would like to write,
mm,
is I have the thoughts of like, nobody gives a shit about this. Like nobody wants to hear this. This is not, nothing you have to say is interesting.
hmm.
Um, so one, I have to like, I think I do first have to accept that like that's I'm gonna have that thought every
Hmm.
time I sit down to write,
Yep.
and
Totally.
probably more when whatever I have to write is actually very important
Absolutely.
because other people who are having a similar experience or would find meaning in it will also have that thought about themselves and then read about someone else
Yeah.
experiencing it and it that helps them be like, oh, it's not, this isn't stupid actually.
Absolutely.
Um, so my big intention for the year is having a writing practice where I'm writing something every day.
Okay.
And I'm not attaching a number to it.
Sure.
I'm making it more of a like most days thing rather than
Mm-hmm.
needing it to be like if I miss a day, I can't do, I mean, you know this about me, I can't do goals that are all or nothing.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm trying to write every day, and I have written most days so far this year something. And some
Yeah.
days, and you saw me do this, some days I sit and I'll write a few pages.
Yep.
Some days I will write a sentence or two.
Yep.
Yesterday, what I started writing was a list of symbols that I've seen that I want to study. That's like a part of it is that I want to study like symbolism, specifically like nature-based symbolism, but
Right.
I'm not necessarily limiting myself to that either.
Sure.
So I'm just like getting in the practice of like writing something, even if I don't feel like I have something interesting to write, hoping that it like breaks that,
That's right.
or at least that I then get acclimated to just being like, yeah, whatever, fuck off. Some people give that like the intrusive thought voice in their brain a name. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, there's a writer that I really like, Haley Jacobson, who talks a lot about having OCD,
Okay.
and she calls her like OCD voice Josh, and is like, that's just Josh, like it's like
Yeah.
it has like an identity and a voice, and it also is funny, like if you give it a
Yeah.
name where it's like, I think, and maybe she doesn't mean it this way, but I think Josh is a little bit of a funny name. Like it
Yeah.
would,
100%.
for
Yeah.
me, it like breaks you out of like, because the intrusive thoughts often feel so serious.
Yes.
But the idea of like, no one gives a shit about what I have to say, that's fucking ridiculous. It's dramatic. So
Well,
I
that's,
want,
yeah. I feel like the intrusive voice is always intense for me at least and dramatic. Yeah. It's always
yeah,
like like big jump to a worse conclusion every time.
yes,
Right.
yes,
And like, yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So I don't know. So in terms of like my intentions for the year, I'm trying to write more and I'm also just trying to write more that doesn't need to be like held to a certain standard. I'm also the person that's like, if I'm gonna write, like, what project am I working on? What thing am I doing?
Hmm.
Toward what
Hmm.
end? Am
Yeah.
I working on another book? Am I,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I have decided that I would like to have a writing practice that doesn't have to be goal oriented, that doesn't have to be
That's right.
me producing anything, but is literally just me getting in the practice of writing anything.
I think, yeah, I find that very inspirational. And it's that approach to just creative work in general has been very helpful for me having any creative practice at all. Um, I credit my other BFF, Ed, for
Shout out, hi
getting,
Ed.
yeah, getting me over that hump because, um, that has been his approach to his, creative practice as well. It's just like, he needs to be he needs to be creating stuff, and so he does. That's just it. And like,
Yeah.
is his apartment absolutely jam packed with like artwork? Yes, it is. um my friend Monica, shout out Monica, she
Hi, Monica.
also, like, she's a compulsive creator, like, and it is astonishing what she makes, um because she just keeps doing it. And everything, she's a very talented person, so everything she makes, I'm like, you could sell the shit out of this, like big time. And she's like, yeah, you know, she just wants to create.
Yeah. Yep.
And like, um, and sometimes she might sell some stuff, but like, she's not trying to make this her business by any means. This
Yeah.
is a very millennial energy of like, what's your
Oh, yeah.
brand? How are you making money? How can it become hustle and all of that? And it's like, and I, just to affirm you in this moment, and I've said this to you before, but I'll say it to you and to the 19, but I did not know that it would be possible to find a creative partner who would be like organically in the creative space in a way that's like the special episode from last week is
Mhm.
um is chaos. It's an insane thing to do, and I like love doing it. I truly think it's brilliant. I fucking love it. And it's an
Yeah.
insane thing to do if money was our objective. And, or even just like basic popularity or whatever. But like, for whatever reason, it was in both of us to be like when I sent you the first drafts of things and you were like, this is the best thing I've, and I'm like, speaking of which, that was when I was like, we don't have to do this, we could do something, whatever.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I was
Yeah.
like, really? Great. Love it. Cause that's
Hmm.
my vibe too. But
Yeah.
um, and so I'm just incredibly grateful that like your creative spirit is in that like kind of compulsory place as well. So to, like, for lack of
Yeah.
a better way of saying it,
Hmm.
um, I don't think that's like, it's, I think a lot of people have that sensation, but it does take some work to do it because the
Yeah.
entire world is going to discourage that.
Yeah. Well, and I am very aware. I was talking to someone yesterday about the possibility of an opportunity that would shift kind of my time and my capacity and, in thinking about how I want my life to be structured, if I want to take on more work in my week, and was just talking to her about how I feel very, very privileged. Like it is such a privilege to have like a life that is structured in such a way that I have spare time and the ability to create when I feel like many people don't because of, again, capitalism. And so I think like I also am trying to like steward that privilege responsibly and say like, I want to like be grateful for that and not like I don't know. I'm also one to use time that I feel like I could be making something or going and seeing something that's inspiring to me or reading something that's inspiring to me. I'll use that time instead to, as many of us do, mindlessly consume social media
Mm-hmm.
or like sit on my phone and have a dissociative episode where I suddenly come to and it's 45 minutes later, right? And that I don't know, like more and more I feel like I'm squandering something with that. It
Yep.
feels
Yep. Totally.
it's a disservice to myself and all of that, but it's also it feels shitty to do that when, that there are people who don't have the space and time that I do. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and even without the comparison to other people, like like for me, that revelation came when unfortunately I had too many friends die in like a 1.5 year period.
Yeah.
And it fucking shifted something in me in a way that
Yep. Yep.
like watching multiple people under 40 die was like, what am I doing with the quite literally precious time that I have?
Yep. Yep.
And honestly, like I got like it was really hard for me because my cultural understanding of things is that making art and stuff is like a selfish thing to do. It's a privilege thing, it's a selfish thing, all of that, which by the way, historically, not true. Artists are not of the wealthy class. That's not ever historically been the truth. They've always been the proletariat, as it were.
Hmm.
And the best art comes from the proletariat.
Yeah.
And it still is. Like, go to a museum right now and see who the best art is coming from. Um, but so that's actually when I started though making intentional choices because for me, I realized like I didn't grow up in a arts oriented community at all. And
Hmm.
so I just had no conception that that's really something you can do. But I used to feel legitimately like I felt like I was going to explode all the time.
Yeah.
And and I think like figuring out again, I hate that it took literal death for me to get here, but it was like you might have to make uncomfortable changes in your life to give your brain the space to even conceive of creative practice, if that
Yep.
makes sense. Because
Absolutely.
before that, and it's interesting because it's so interesting of when I met you. If you would have met me like my entire life prior to um 2021, I was a 60 to 70 hours a week worker. My identity was entirely my work. Entirely. I I don't even like there was nothing else. And
Yeah.
and again I credit many of my friends with helping me like not just the ones who unfortunately passed away, but also some who are living with just like challenging me on like, hey, your job is never going to actually love you back.
Yep.
And your job is
Yep.
never actually going it your job is a feature of capitalism. It owes you nothing. You are
Yep.
there for it at all times. That's just the way it is, even in nonprofits.
Yep.
And um yeah, so anyway, I think that's when I decided to like really make uncomfortable. I mean, it was like very difficult shifts, big life changes um, to move my life toward a creative existence.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm still like somewhat in that transition phase. I probably will be back and forth forever, but like I remember pointedly being like, well, like you feel like this explosive need to create, but you can't paint and you can't actually write. You're not like again, anything you're gonna write, someone else has already written. Who gives a shit? And
Yeah.
like you
Yep.
can't paint because you're attached to the end of it, not the practice of it, all of that.
Hmm.
Like, and you don't actually know. Like, I always was hung up on like, well, you don't know how.
Yep.
You don't know how to do these things, so you can't do them. And it's
No.
like, it turns out, and this was again, Ed used this language with me, and it really shifted my brain when he described painting as just moving paint around on a thing.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, well, I can
That's
do that.
right.
That I can do. I can move
Certainly.
paint around. That I can accomplish.
Absolutely.
And it like truly like set me free. I was like, oh great. And so I started painting like with some regularity, um and then that like set me loose on comedy and writing in a different way and all of that. Yeah, creative. I mean, it's creativity and creative practice is so fascinating to me because it at once is so um easy in the sense that like I have to do it. There isn't another life where I just can't do that's not an option, which then it's like eating or breathing or drinking water, like it's just going to happen. And at the same it's such a complicated truth of like that is true and it is also true that it's the most painful process at times.
Yes.
um I used to also actually say that the that writing in particular is like the best and worst thing on the like to do. Or
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing, but some it's the best and the worst all the time.
Yep.
And
That's exactly right.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I do. I find it interesting that you and I are very aligned on this like creative practice intention. I haven't set any like practice goals per se or put any structure around it. But that is certainly when I narrow down like what my intentions are for 2026, it's community and creativity.
Love.
The community one is a little more accessible for me to organize because I do that with my professional life. So I know all the skills and tools to just like make that happen. Um, but I'm trying really hard not to over lean into that in a
Mm,
way that then I'm like, oh wait, we aren't doing anything creative and now we feel like exploding again. Uh-oh. Like,
sure.
yeah. Um, so you described your um well actually I'm curious about this. What's a like what's a different like feeling you want to have next year?
Mm, it's a great question. I do feel like I I access quite a wide spectrum of human emotion. Just like in my day to day. Um, I, d- I would like to experience more joy, but
Mm-hmm.
that just feels like generally always true. Um, I don't know. I mean, and I have a coaching client who I've worked with for a long time, and I remember her saying this very early on in our work together, that she wanted to experience a feeling of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
connect with that very much.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my life is not set up for like peace or tranquility to be like an accessible emotional experience all the time. But I do
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't know, it really is just like I say this a lot, like we live our life on hard mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We, are parents of many children. There is a lot that is layered and complicated about the lives of those children and, all that there is to kind of hold and support. Um, and so there's also a lot that is unpredictable or unknown about the future and feels some of which feels totally out of our control. Um, but I know that a feeling of peace is not completely inaccessible to me because I have
Mm-hmm.
had glimmers of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to access more of it. And I do think that is part of the drive behind wanting to prioritize making art because that is a way that I can access that feeling of
Mm,
peace.
mm.
Um, yeah, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind. Also just more like stupid silliness. More
I
just
can help
like
there.
it's a shame that I have no one to, that neither of us have anyone to help us with our stuff that we're working on. Like, it's really hard.
That's interesting because when you said joy, the thing that came to my mind was, or peace rather, sorry, peace and joy, I guess, but peace was like, um, the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was nature,
Oh, yeah.
and 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 then that kind of full circled back for me of your interesting or your interest in symbolism, and that a lot of
Yeah.
the symbols that have been coming up are natural ones.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think there's some like interesting alignment there. Um, Not that nature is inherently peaceful, absolutely not. However, I think there's a piece in nature, just even its volatility, um, just occurring
Yeah.
versus like structuralism in
Yeah.
volatility, if that makes sense, which
It
is
does.
our obviously lived situation at the moment. Um, and I mean, which I'll be real, like a big thing that I'm thinking about is like in part just survival for next year.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, what is that going to look like and what do I need to put in place? So like putting some safety measures in place with phone trees with friends and um like asking that they do the same so that we can just be prepared for anything. Oops, hang on. Spam call.
Mm.
Gotta love them. Um,
No, you don't. I hate them.
Apparently, I everyone thinks that I own a 2022 Terrain. I don't even know who makes that vehicle, but I the
Do you
number
not?
I know it's shocking that I drove you around in a 2010 Civic when you were here, because I could have been driving you around in the 2022 Terrain, baby.
No, you didn't want you're saving the nice car for when your good friends visit. I get it. I get it. When you
Oh
need to
my
really roll
gosh.
out the red carpet.
Can you imagine? What if you did find out that I was like hiding a good vehicle? What if I had a whole other life and like a fancier apartment and like a better tortoise and like just
A better
a
tortoise.
better
I love
tortoise?
that detail. A nicer car, a fancier apartment, a better tortoise, normal consistency smoothies.
Oh my God. Um, no, this is my life in full. So this is all there is. Um,
No,
you
this is
you're
my
seeing
life.
it. You're seeing it. You've seen it all. Um, Although I might go to the suburbs and pick up a futon, which will make it
That's
exciting for
exciting.
your next visit. Um, yeah, I've been obviously tracking on Craigslist, but I've been back and forth because it needs to be a full size one, not a queen size one, given the space that I have available. And
Mm,
and I obviously have to figure out the logistics of like it's not going to fit my car, so what's the plan? And especially if it doesn't break down. But there's someone in Elm something, Elmhurst, Elmdale, I don't really know, some western suburb, um, selling a full size futon for like with the mattress in like good condition for like $60. So I'm like, yeah, it might
oh
be
my
worth me
God.
just picking up a U-Haul pickup truck or something and going and getting that. So, are you looking at your incense? Did you
That's
just burn more
exciting.
incense? Did you just burn more incense?
I've been burning more, but I'm watching this one because it looks like I have a new incense burner thing coming, but right now I've got a weird, like, kind of wonky setup here. I would turn the whole computer to show you, but
Of course.
it's precarious.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and it is like about to like ash onto, and I can't tell if it's gonna go onto the desk.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a
Uh-huh.
journey we're all gonna go on together. It'll be fine. It's also right next to the like incense thing that I have now was also my like solstice altar, so it still has
Oh.
like
Mhm.
a pine cone on it and
Sure.
some bay leaves and I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a lot happening here. It's a lot
Um,
happening here.
Speaking of a lot happening, I need to make a quick movement. Again, given the 6-day-old smoothie, I think we'll go quickly. But give me just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Good luck in there.
Thank you. Oh wait. Hang on. Yeah. I was just looking for the pause button. That's where I'm at. I was like, how do I pause
Well,
this? How do I pause this so I can come back and watch
my show's on. Let me pause
my,
it.
my stories? Okay, 1 sec.
Okay, bye.
Ah, break. Weren't you just asking for one of those?
What would you do if I just didn't come back?
I mean, that would be hilarious, actually, and it might be one of my favorite episodes to put up there. Fine, I'm just going to talk about this bitch. She is so boring.
Ugh, the
It's
most
like
boring. Don't tell
so
her I said
boring.
that though.
Unbelievable. Um, no, I was just mapping. So, like, the kind of, like I said, the words that kind of have come up for me for this year are community and creativity, which is why I was very impressed when I had already like started writing about that. And then when we did the card pull while you were here, that was very much the theme.
Yeah,
And um and I think both of those kind of yield curiosity.
yeah.
Um and so then I was just kind of like mapping out a little bit around that and what are some of the things that I can do and want to do, much like you're like, I'm going to try to write every day kind of thing. Not super rigid stuff, but just like, here's some thoughts around that. Um, like, I do want to really try to get to be intentional about getting into natural spaces more often, especially living in a city. I just feel like I totally underestimate the power of all the things that all the like healers, not dominantly in the Western world, talk about of like,
Yep.
go walk around some trees, put your bare feet in grass, like
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. And then being intentional about body movement in a non-harmful way.
Hmm.
Um, and that includes strength. I do want to like think about specifically strength and mobility. Um, and then around community, thinking about like how creativity folds into that. And something that I've thought about doing also as kind of a survival thing for the coming for however long we're in this and everything, is like once a month having a get like just inviting all of my friends to um, do some mutual aid work, but then
Mm.
also while doing whatever we're doing for that, like actually talk about what we're feeling and experiencing in the world as it is.
Yeah.
Um, and then whoever wants to can also like, I'll have art supplies and stuff and we can just make shit if we want.
I love
Um,
that.
and so I think something like that, like just once a month would be really like maybe help meet the moment. And then I want to publish some stuff this year. Um, I never have. And I big time, um, imposter syndrome with that.
Mm.
Always have. Even when professors in undergrad or grad school were like, you should publish this, I was like, that can't be right. Literally, my brain is like, I tricked you. You're
Yep.
confused.
Oh yeah.
You think I'm
Yeah.
smart. That's not true. You'll find out. You'll find out.
Oh, oh, yep.
The
Yep.
amount of my brain that thinks I've tricked everyone around me.
Yeah, including myself, by the way.
100%.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By the
100.
way, I've published two books. It doesn't go away, so just know that.
That was one of my favorite things too. When was that? Like 3 months ago or something, when you were like, sometimes I forget that I've like published books. And I'm like, I don't. I tell everyone all the time.
Yeah, I mean it's one of my favorite things. Not this past December, but the December before, at the end of 2024, I was like recapping the year and was thinking like, "Ugh, like what have I even accomplished this year?" Like literally that was the like
Right, right.
I haven't done anything. Which like baseline, I mothered four children through the year. Like there's a lot of things, many
Yep.
things that I did.
Yes.
But then I remembered I went back and like looked through my photos and like whatever to like was like maybe I'll jog my memory of something worthwhile that I did. Awful, awful.
Worthwhile.
And
I can't.
I get back to May of 2024 and I go, "Oh, I published a book this year. I had a book come out."
Uh-huh.
And not like at the beginning of the year either, like midway through.
Yeah.
We weren't that far out from it when I was thinking, ugh, I haven't done anything. I can't do
Oh,
anything.
100%. Yeah.
Mental illness is a bitch.
It really is. I mean, this is where, like, again, I really rely on the few people I truly trust to help me out because I'm like, and like, I remember my dear friend Serena, who I lived with in New York and upstate for a while. And she did this for me. And then you also, when I moved here, were someone who did this for me as well as Ed. But like, um, just, hey, you've actually only been there for like a month. You've only been there for two, and it never
Yep.
really sinks in. I'm just like, so what? Like, it
Yeah, but
doesn't.
I should be able to accomplish more than this.
Yes, exactly. And like, I remember like now when I look back at my time upstate, I'm like, oh, you were only there for 3 months, and within like 2 weeks, I swear to God, I was like, I'm a fucking loser who can't get a job, and like I'm useless. I've never done anything with my life. Why do I even live here? And and then and this is my other thing is like I said, I my most accessible identity is work.
Yeah.
Um and I
Yeah.
come from like a very hardworking family, big time, like union family, work is everything. And I nail it in that regard. Um but yeah, this December I was like, oh, I've only been here 4 months. Oh, that's weird. Like
Oh,
my expectation for myself is as if I have been here for like 3 years of what I should have accomplished by now.
yeah, dude. It's rough
Um,
out here being a person with high expectations for yourself and an anxiety disorder, unspecified, and a deep longing to be creative and make things that are meaningful.
it's also like I had therapy yesterday. It's like, um, it is interesting, and I do think this is because of the literally murderous fascist state we are now in.
Absolutely.
Um, but I was like, oh, my brand of crazy is showing up in new ways that even I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
have predicted. And
Oh
I
yeah.
thought I knew my crazy. And
Oh
that was
yeah.
my first mistake. You never actually know.
Your brain is capable of so much.
Which, okay, but in all honesty, I will say this is my optimism. I find it very fascinating that I can have whole new experiences and learn whole new things and be totally wrong. It literally is what makes me feel like don't actually kill yourself because you don't actually know yet. You don't. You just
That's
don't.
right.
Think about, and so one of my favorite exercises, and I do this when I facilitate and coach sometimes too, but I do it with myself almost every day of like, what's something that you were absolutely sure of that turned out to be absolutely wrong?
Mm,
Because when
mm.
I think of that, I'm like, there's so much more, dude. There's so much more. You
Oh yeah.
really are limited and you don't even know it. And that's a good thing. That means that like just keep plugging away and you'll see a new leaf you've never seen before or whatever. And I know that all sounds whatever, but you and I were talking about it while you were here. I really do feel that way when I like see something really striking. I'm just like, oh, I feel very lucky that I get to see that.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, dude.
had I made a different choice in other moments of my mental health, I would not be seeing that.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
let alone other feelings and stuff like, you know, our giggle fit on Tuesday. I'm glad I got to experience that. That's an incredible privilege and joy. Uh-oh, what happened?
Crazy birds. Crazy huge fucking seagulls right outside the window, dude. What literally one was like, if I could have stuck my arm out the window, I would have
Shut
touched
the
it.
fuck up. Symbols,
Oh, writing it down, bitch. Writing it down right now.
dude.
Seagulls. Many. Just diving right in front of my window. Someone must have dumped some good trash out in the street that they're swooping down to get.
Somebody must have dumped
Well,
some good
something
that
I
that happy
love,
trash, not that sad trash.
not the sad trash. No, we're working on that.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Coming soon. Sad trash. I I mean, you know what's funny is you've just begun answering the question without even maybe realizing you're answering the question of what's keeping you alive.
I mean, and this is a very Nietzschean answer, so everyone can just
Sorry, are you referring to
embrace.
Nietzsche?
Shut the fuck up, you absolute cunt.
Nietzsche? It's better when I have the vocal fry on it, right? Nietzsche?
Nietzsche. It drives me absolutely wildly crazy.
Keep going.
I isn't it interesting that like Drive Me Wild is doesn't have like Drive Me Crazy has the context of either like, oh, you're driving me crazy, like sexually or and excitingly,
Yeah.
or like, oh, it's driving me crazy in a bad way.
Yeah.
But Drive Me Wild doesn't have the ugh one. It's like, ooh, it's making me wild. But it wouldn't be like, ugh, you're making me wild, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
is this a moment where you feel like you're talking to one of your children? Because
I've never thought about that.
every now and then I feel like I channel your children and just do that to you. Um,
No, I don't ever feel like I'm talking to one of my children. I do feel like I these moments are why I'm reminded why you vibe so well with children is because
oh,
you have a curiosity that children have about things where I'm like, "Oh, I've never thought about that." Like literally that's never occurred to me what you just said, but like yeah, that is interesting. Huh.
yeah. Um, but anyway, yeah. So what's keeping me alive? Very Nietzschean concept here, but just literally experiencing experience. So what I was just describing, right? Like merely being here for it.
Yep.
Even the bad stuff, even the really like utter devastation I have felt the last couple days, as many of us have,
Yeah.
or the devastation we felt for the last several years. Let's just be, whatever. But and a spike, I think, over the last couple days, and as shitty as it is, I do feel like a sense of gratitude for getting to experience such to just experience, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I get to feel, and that's something. So yeah. What about you? What's keeping you alive?
I mean, very similarly, I think like in this moment in time continuing to feel connected to my own humanity
Mm,
and that I am like deeply affected and impacted by horrific acts of violence. And that means that I am still human and I've not been overtaken
that's
by
right. Fuck yes, that's right.
fascism.
That's right.
The fact that I felt like wiped out and exhausted yesterday, in part is because I had just been traveling and came back to my routine after being away, but also was very much, I think, in my body really like feeling the
Yep.
weight of, again, ascending fascism. So, and just like horrific images that I'd seen or things that I'd read or information that I was sitting with. And that those moments I think they don't feel good, but I can choose to be grateful that I am still human.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that my ability to feel hasn't been taken from me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that, yeah, it doesn't make it easy to be in that feeling. It doesn't make any of the ugly, horrific shit go away, but
Mm-mm.
um it is the thing that like makes me remain hopeful is that also that like I know many, 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 many people are feeling something similar and
Mm-hmm.
that that encourages me. It scares me that people don't have like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
I
feel
know.
fearful of.
That's right.
Even more than people who are like actively fucking evil.
That's right.
I think I
Yep.
feel it's the indifference or the people who
Yes,
are just numb to it really
that's right.
scares me.
100%. A
Um,
100%.
so yeah, being able to be, and also again, having the privilege of a life where I am able to say like, yeah, like I need to be indoors today. I need to
Yeah.
like not leave my house, which also
Yep.
ended up being the right call because there was just something in me telling me like you're tired, so
Yeah.
you don't need to be. And I almost did, and I told you this. I almost was like, no, no, no. I'll just jump right back into my
Yeah.
normal routine. I'll do a schlep back and forth to Manhattan with a toddler today. It's not a big deal. And, then when my spouse offered to do that part of the job for me and for me to take her place and to stay here at the house, I then thought, okay, well, I'll see how I feel, but maybe I'll go run some errands or like go to the store or something, like get out of the house. And something was just telling me, like, nope, you need to
Yeah.
stay here. And then it ended up being that two of the three children who were home yesterday afternoon, like, needed me
Yeah.
and needed, I mean, they all need me, I guess, as their mom, but like needed active emotional like
That's right.
co-regulation from me.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so there's also something, there's like, I feel gratitude in knowing that, like, oh, when I listen to myself, good things happen, right? I'm
That's
I'm
right.
where I need to be and I can be present where I am. Yeah,
Do you want to read Zarathustra together?
sure.
We both
I'll
just
read,
gave incredibly Nietzschean answers.
great.
Everything you just said is nearly plucked from Zarathustra.
Saying, do you want to read blank together with me? A is one of the most like, I experience it as one of the most like loving requests.
Hmm.
A. And yes, I always will say yes to that. So let's do it. Are we going to read it before or after we finish the book, TM?
After, one at a time. But I will say that that question is one that I would ask maybe three people on this planet.
Hmm.
So,
Aw.
and one of them I've already read it with. So there's that.
Sure.
But like,
Yeah.
um, but like that for most people, reading Zarathustra with them sounds like a nightmare. That I am
Sure.
setting myself up for disappointment. But I am so curious what your read of that would be, um,
Oh.
especially given your what you just said and your kind of spiritual practice.
Mm. Well, let's do
Um,
it. Great.
love it. Okay, so we'll finish the book TM first, and
Great.
then I will get you a copy of Zarathustra since you have delighted me with many books that mean a lot to you. Let me do this one for you. I'll get it from a local
Okay.
bookstore in Brooklyn so that you also have an excuse to go. Not that you need one, but don't we all always want another reason to go?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
there's an excellent translation, a new translation of the last like 5 years that I'll snag for you, and we'll be on the same page and everything.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love that. Which I will say, by the way, I am gonna give a shout out to someone who I know is listening who will recognize themselves in this. But this is a favorite, like a sacred long distance friendship practice to me that I stole from this person.
okay,
It's Richard, hi Richard, who will, with his best friend who lives far away,
sure.
they will order each other books
Mm,
to pick up at their like favorite go-to local
cute.
bookstore. And it is like
I love it.
I the first time he told me that I was like, that's a really lovely, like
Yeah,
loving ritual.
yeah.
There's also a chance that his that the best friend that I'm talking about is also listening, and if so,
Oh,
hi Derek. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's delightful.
yeah.
Let's continue doing that.
I um I have a mini two-person book club with Ed, my other BFF,
Hmm.
and it has truly sustained me in many dark times. So I think it's just a good practice. Like we're not religious about it by any means, but there was a time when we read like 4 or 5 books a year together,
Hmm.
and it was just fucking delightful and so much fun. So anyway, I've been Zarathustra is a comfort read for me, especially in the chaos, and so sharing that with you would be just delightful.
Love it. Guys, read with your friends. Read with
Read
your
with your
friends.
friends.
We're in a literacy crisis. Start reading
Dude, you
as an
know
act
what?
of resistance.
My ex and I actually, this was like one of the funnest parts of our relationship is that we would pick something that wasn't like heavy literature
Yeah.
and take turns each night, like before bed, reading it out loud.
Are we going to start an ASMR channel
Dude, obviously. Um, we
with
did,
us reading through books?
I would love that so much. We did, I think her name's Allison something, but it's the book Hyperbole and a Half. It's like a graphic novel, but there's a
Oh yeah, I've
website
heard of
for it
that.
too.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite books. I love it. And she did another one recently. I can't remember the title, but anyway, look up Hyperbole and a Half. That author is incredible. She had an interview on NPR that was just stunning. She's just a delight. Um, and just brilliant. But and hilarious, like it's hilarious is the core of it. But yeah, that's a very fond memory with that partner was like reading that book together and like just having that time together and not just putting on a show or whatever. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Listen, more that is another actually truly an intention for me in 2026 is more reading books.
Yeah, dude. Let's read the books.
Let's
Read
read
the
books.
books, people.
Come
They're
on.
fun. All
Reading
right.
is fundamental.
It's fun and fun. You can't spell fundamental without fun.
I mean, and I've always said that.
I've
I've
always,
always,
I'm
always
famous
said
for
that.
saying that. Okay, well, until next time. Anyway,
More soon.